In tonight's Government Insider, the IRS Whistleblower Program. The U.S. tax gap stands at $450 billion a year. That's the difference between taxes owed and taxes paid on time. Basically, Uncle Sam leaves a ton of money on the table. Inside the IRS, a small team of federal workers wants to narrow that gap, but they have a long way to go. For more, I'm joined by Jay McTigue, Director of Tax Issues at the Government Accountability Office. Jay, let's start with the basics. What is the Whistleblower Office? How big is it, and what kind of work do they do?
Sure. The Whistleblower Office is actually a very small office within IRS. It only has about 60 FTE, full-time equivalent staff. And basically, the Whistleblower Office is responsible for tracking and managing whistleblower claims, everything from the submission of the claim by the whistleblower through communicating with the whistleblower, working with the operating divisions who actually perform the audit of the taxpayer, and then making the award determination for the whistleblower award.
So this is like a bounty system. Citizens blow the whistle on tax cheats and they get a piece of the pie. Is that basically it?
That's basically it. As you mentioned, Morris, in the last 5 years, since 2011, through the whistleblower program, IRS has collected about $2 billion. Whistleblowers have received about $315 million as a result of the information they provided that helped produce that revenue.
Now, the shortfall is still $450 billion a year. That's a drop in the bucket. How can the IRS make this program stronger?
Well, the whistleblower program is one of many tools that IRS has to enhance voluntary compliance and enforce the tax laws. The tax gap, the gross tax gap, as you stated, is $450 billion. However, IRS, using all of its enforcement actions, actually is able to collect about $65 billion, making a net tax gap of about $385 billion, still a significant sum of money. In our report, we identified a number of recommendations and actions that IRS could take to improve the whistleblower program, everything from streamlining the claims process to improving communication with whistleblowers and the public, as well as Congress, to help provide additional oversight for the program, as well as additional protections for the whistleblowers. Whistleblowers put a lot on the line when they reveal information either about their employers or others, and right now, they basically have no legal protection, unlike other whistleblowers.
Now, Jay, I'm going to ask you about your recommendations in just a second. Meantime, Congress has hammered the IRS in recent years through budget cuts and other measures. What kind of impact is that having on the Whistleblower Office? Can they keep pace with the workload?
Well, the staffing of the Whistleblower Office has actually increased in recent years. As I mentioned, there are about 60 FTE there. Overall, IRS is down about 13,000 employees over the since 2010. The net effect of this is a couple things. The Whistleblower Office itself has not been able to keep pace with the number of claims. Currently, there are 30,000 open claims pending and another 10,000 or so in the backlog. As I mentioned, IRS is down overall 13,000 employees, and this also has an impact on the whistleblower program because, as I mentioned, the operating divisions, the tax examiners, are also down in numbers. So they're doing fewer audits overall and potentially fewer whistleblower audits as well.
All right, now you talked about the recommendations you made to Congress and the IRS. What's the latest with that?
Well, the good news is IRS agreed with all our recommendations and has actually already taken steps to implement several of those. The report went up to Congress recently, and and basically, we'll keep tabs on that to see whether or not additional actions by the Congress are necessary. We did have one matter for the Congress, and that, as I mentioned earlier, was to provide or consider providing legal protection to tax whistleblowers.
Yeah, that's very important. That's certainly a key that needs to be worked on. In the meantime, Jay McTigue with the GAO. Thanks for being with us, Jay.
Thank you, Morris.